Hello everyone, it's the month of October. That means that there are so many movies related to Halloween coming out. But instead of reviewing those movies, I'm gonna go far back in time. Like really far back in time. Like almost 100 years. Anyway, I thought it would be cool to review the classic monster movies, which have been highly acclaimed by many film buffs, and are considered film history. And so I'm gonna check them out, and review them every Monday throughout the month of October. The classic monsters were basically the first cinematic universe. They were the first to invent popular characters that would do crossover movies. These days we have Freddy vs. Jason, King Kong vs. Godzilla, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So while many movie studios seem to think this whole cinematic universe craze was started by Marvel, it was actually Universal and their monsters that started it first. But anyway, let's talk about the first of these Universal monster films, Dracula.
I am Dracula. A moment ago, I stumbled upon a most amazing phenomenon. Something so incredible, I mistrust my own judgment.
Even if you haven't seen this movie or read the book, you most likely know who Dracula is. He even has his own cereal. He's such a popular icon, it's amazing to see where he started. This 1931 movie was technically based on the 1897 novel, but from my knowledge, it doesn't really follow the book. But that doesn't mean it's ruined, because this is a really good movie. You can tell why this movie was such a hit. It may not be as scary by today's standards, but for 1931, it was pretty scary. A lot of people these days try to convince you that Citizen Kane is the best old movie and try to get you to appreciate it, especially in film schools. However, I think this movie deserves the same attention. It's well paced and so well done, I have to recommend it to everyone, even if you're not a fan of scary movies. For one, the cast is really great. Bela Lugosi's performance is classic. He really embodies the character and has the recognizable accent and costume that has made Dracula a household name. Dwight Frey as Reinfeld is also phenomenal. His acting when he's under Dracula's control is so well done, and you can tell the actor is having the time of his life. The overall character of Dracula is really scary and really interesting, and the little detail I noticed was the lighting on his eyes. A lot of moments in the movie show that his eyes are lit up, like his eyes are the brightest part of his body. And with the creepy facial expression, it really gives off the scariness of that character. And while the majority of the movie isn't set in it, the castle of Dracula is really cool looking. I thought it was kind of funny to see armadillos and bats just wandering around. You probably weren't going for that kind of humor, but I still find it kind of amusing. One of my favorite aspects of this movie by far is that for some scenes, there's no music. This allows the tension and suspense to build up, and in my opinion, it's more frightening. I wonder what it would be like if horror movies these days were to do something similar, instead of having scary music or a jump scare. A good example is when Dracula is flying as a bat into the room of Miss Lucy. There's no music in this scene, and even when it's revealed Dracula is in the room, there's no sudden music, and the scene also cuts away before we can see Dracula killing the girl. Now you have to just imagine what happened instead of actually seeing it. And I think this makes the scene way more scary. It wouldn't be as scary if it was just like every other modern movie. Apparently there's a Spanish version of this movie that was shot around the same time as the English version was. Basically, the English cast and crew would come to the set and shoot the scenes in the morning, and the Spanish cast and crew would film at night. And to my knowledge, the Spanish version is actually better. There are some scenes in the English version that were good, but the Spanish version took a look at that and actually did it better. A good example is when Van Helsing shows Dracula that he has no reflection in the mirror. In the English version, Dracula takes one glance at the mirror and knocks it out of Van Helsing's hand. But in the Spanish version, Helsing shows Dracula, who slowly looks at the mirror and then smashes it with his cane. I haven't seen the Spanish version yet, but a lot of people say it's superior to the English version. Overall, Dracula has a legacy that not many horror films really have. It was the catalyst for Universal's monster movies and still will be recognized as a classic. Overall, I'd recommend it. It's well paced, acted well, and even if horror movies or black and white movies aren't really your thing, I say give this one a shot. It's cool to see the origin of these monsters. Dracula, good movie, check it out.
I am Dracula.